After several generations in Egypt, there arose a Pharaoh who did not honor Joseph nor his memory. Rather than blessing the 12 tribes, he enslaved them. For 400 years, the nation of Israel worked and slaved to build Pharaoh's cities and empire. God stood by and did not get actively involved until Pharaoh decided to kill the male children of the Israelites in order to stop their rapid multiplying. This threatened God's promise that they would be a great nation. You see, if you don't have male children, you cannot begat. So God raised up a deliverer, Moses. Because of the hardness of Pharaoh's heart, God sent 10 plagues upon Egypt, some disgusting, some deadly. Pharaoh eventually let the people of God leave Egypt under Moses' leadership. The book of Exodus describes the nation of Israel's flight from Egypt and their journey toward the promised land, that is, the land that God promised Abraham. God brought Israel out of Egypt and into a new relationship with him. Israel camped at Mount Sinai, where Moses received the 10 Commandments. God wanted to govern his people so they could prosper. The principles of the 10 Commandments are timeless, and they've been used to govern nations for centuries. The book of Leviticus includes the various commandments and laws that the nation of Israel and the priesthood should observe. It also details many elaborate rituals and sacrifices they were to perform to atone for their sins. Though they did not realize it at the time, God was foreshadowing a greater sacrifice to come. God's people continued their journey toward the Promised Land. You can read all about it in the book of Numbers. There was a problem, however. Pagans occupied the Promised Land. These squatters would not give up easily. Moses sent 12 men to spy out the land. 10 of the 12 brought back a fearful report. 2 of the 12 guaranteed victory. Unfortunately, the people believed the majority report. They believed they would fail. Even after all the miracles, they still didn't trust God. It's interesting to note that the very next day, the leaders came to Moses and said, "We made a mistake. Here we are. We're ready to obey God now." Do you know what God said? God said, "Yesterday was your opportunity, not today." You see, they said no to God one day, and God said no to them the next. It's important for us to obey God when He speaks, not if or when we want to. Because of their unbelief, God allowed them to wander in the wilderness until everyone who refused to trust Him died. Only 2 of the original group remained, Joshua and Caleb, the 2 spies who had believed God for victory. Moses himself was not allowed to go into the Promised Land. He could only view it from a distance. The book of Deuteronomy is Moses' farewell speech to Israel just before his death.